Ladies and gents, welcome to The Good Show, episode 22, the DreamHack Aftermath edition. I'm joined here by Semmler. How's it going, Sem?
Just fine, mate, just fine.
You didn't do anything at DreamHack.
What, are you kidding me? I've spent 3 days on my feet, talking to people, promoting the studio.
It is true, you did an interview with Richard.
With Richard Lewis, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Of course, this show is powered by lovely people at Asus. I do believe they've actually got a competition for a laptop up on their Facebook page. We'll bring it up a little bit later. But joining us in the corner is Hellspawn from DreamHack, representing the whole of DreamHack. Robert said everything he says is true and will go.
Might be so.
Because Robert,
know.
Robert, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it today. His kid had to go to hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been well for a while, but I hope he's recovering.
So, yeah, hopefully that all sorts out. And we've replaced Newman, because he's lazy, we've decided. We're not sure where Newman is. And we replaced him with Adebisi.
Yeah.
From, I guess, kind of like the Good Studio, or the internet, or from Canada. I don't know who you represent just yet. But for StarCraft
I'm myself. I represent Adebisi.
He represents a 6'3" black rapist. Come on.
That's true.
That's mine.
And
yeah,
everyone's
Adebisi in the
saying
house.
hello, Destiny, which is not true. Okay. Yeah, so we're basically knackered. I'm wearing whatever. I think I've got like a stain here. Semmler's his usual self.
Someone looks great. He's got a new haircut.
That's it. Some people got the reference. Oz in the house, man.
Yeah, it is, of course. That's where he got his name from Oz.
Winning.
One of the best characters, Adebisi.
Damn straight.
Right. So where should we start? I guess we should go over some of the tournament winners. DreamHack was, of course, this weekend. If you didn't know, we get to say whatever we want about it because it's not DreamHack don't pay us. Do you? Do you pay us for the show?
No, obviously not.
Obviously not.
Just in
I
your lab
don't
and
think DreamHack pays me for this show either. I guess they'd rather have me somewhere else.
And of course, some of the big tournaments there were StarCraft 2, Dota 2, League of Legends also had an appearance. Heroes of Newerth was also there. Quake Live, Counter-Strike Go, and also Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition.
Yep.
Yeah, and even
FIFA.
Battlefield 3.
And Battlefield
3, FIFA as well.
And we had some esport not related, but still World of Warcraft challenge modes, and they said
DayZ,
the 100.
yeah.
That's
games.
esports, man. That's esports. It's competitive.
And then also, of course, a lot of competition in the booths. Some shoot mania tournaments and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of shit going on. But I'm still kind of amazed that we had 2 million Swedish crowns in esports only, which is about $300,000. And at this point, I'm like, DreamHack has never been about the prize money, but now we do have tons of prize money. I don't even know if anyone else this year would have more.
Well, IPL has 300K. But
Yeah.
300K,
IPL's already
okay.
at
So
300.
that's
international
still it.
Riot.
Yeah, but a non,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
an independently run.
Yeah, but
It's pretty
it's
big.
really cool for us actually, and we hadn't realized it before going into this event that we gather so much prize money for all these esports. So it's cool.
All right, so should we start with StarCraft 2? The
Okay.
story was Hero beat Tasia in the finals. That makes him back-to-back DreamHack champion in
DreamHack
terms
Winter,
of
yep.
DreamHack Winter. Did he
Defending
win?
champ.
Yeah, I won last DreamHack Winter
Yeah.
in the Shinarps arena and did it once again.
But also means he's the champion of the DreamHack
The
ISO
circuit.
Open.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's the DreamHack Ace Open champion 2012. So a lot of money, 250,000 Swedish crowns. So he's set for the upcoming year for sure.
It's like $37,000.
I think something $37,000.
Yeah.
So it's a big prize pool. I was kind of surprised that he went 4-0 against Tasia. Like, I didn't expect that at all.
No.
Having those two in the final was maybe not a shocker.
No.
Even though I was really bumped and surprised that Stefano got knocked out in the group stage. Of course, he having one of the hardest group stages. So, but I mean, Snute and Freyr went ahead, and not SSE or Elfie for that matter. Elfie normally really strong in the group, actually ended up last. So, well, I think it was a good tournament. I think also some people before the event criticized how the quality of the players, because it was not filled of GSL players or Casper players.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people got surprised, or not surprised, but realized during the event that the games were really, really good. Okay, there were some shit games, but overall, the level of the games was really, really high. Or Mike?
Actually, I mean, they were good. I mean, the only problem was it was the semis and the finals were like absolutely one-sided.
Yeah.
Like some of the most one-sided series since like Lacira versus Nesty in GSL finals and Nesty versus Inca. Like they were one-sided, but
We really got the GSL final at DreamHack.
yeah.
First
but I
time
mean,
ever,
I think you guys are kind of due for a series like that.
I agree.
Like it's so it. But day 1 and 2, like the games are good, and I think the players were. Really evenly matched too, so it was good.
Finals was like what 4-0? Quick
4-0.
games.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Obviously, you can't control that, but did that suck?
Yeah, of course. We have been so lucky in the past. I think DreamHack Winter, the Stockholm Invitational, the Summer, the Valencia Invitational, the Winter one. Let's see, the Ace Open Stockholm one. The Summer was not so good. I think Mana destroyed Manga.
it was one side. Yeah.
But overall, DreamHack has been so fortunate compared to anyone else, and it's a bummer, of course, as an organizer that you get so judged after games. I think also both the semifinals, Teja going 3-0 versus Nurcho, which was even a bigger shocker to me actually, and also Hero just defeating Monchi so big.
easily.
So I mean, all the 3 last games of the DreamHack Ace Open Winter were so one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of because usually with the Azo Open, it's like top 8 is the show, and so there's a lot more games. But here it was only the semifinals of the show, and they were all one-sided. So that was a shame.
So what was? I mean, I want to not necessarily just talk about the players now, but in terms of StarCraft 2 numbers, how happy were you? I don't even know. I mean, what was it? What was the kind of? I was literally just stuck to a desk, and then sometimes I took a nap. But what was the kind of StarCraft 2 numbers for you guys there?
You can start,
I think like on the first 2 days, we'd kind of average between both streams. Once it got going into the US time, around like 45K concurrence between both streams.
Yeah.
Kind of like 25K on whatever stream is most popular. Usually stream 1, and then through the finals, I'm not too sure. I didn't get a chance to look too much. I know it peaked at least 60. I think during one of the semis, but I don't really know about the finals.
Yeah. And what about the reception from the audience actually in the arena? And the kind of atmosphere, how did that work out?
I think it was a good atmosphere, but both the semifinals and the finals started off with kind of a lot of empty seats, and then it picked up. I think people went back and forth to the event.
Question, sorry, I have a microphone, I can't find it. But is it true you actually moved the final earlier?
Yeah.
And that's why many people missed it?
So, no, I don't think that was a lot of people missing it, but there were a big confusion about the schedule, because earlier schedule said that it would be later, and then it was.
I think
he also had Red Eye announcing to everybody.
Just why we changed the schedule? I mean, those things happen. We have about, like we said, 7 or 8 tournaments, and of course you have to tweak it. But that was unfortunate that we had to change the schedule.
Well, who was expecting a 3-0-3-1 semis? And then it's like, well, we have an hour and a half window now between the semifinals and the finals.
Yes.
Do we want to wait that long?
No, but in many ways, we did this at Asus ROG, and we pushed the finals forward a bit, just because we wanted to keep the stream entertaining. But actually, sometimes for the finals, you can have an hour and a half break, and it actually helps the build-up.
Yes.
Because everyone knows the exact start time.
Yeah.
And I even had some people email when I did Asus ROG saying, oh, we were actually going to a Barcraft just to watch the finals, and you started early, and so I thought it was a good thing. So in many ways, I mean, do you think it was a good decision just to move it forward a bit, or?
No, I just want to say first that the schedule that we released were what we followed. Like the StarCraft 2 schedule released about 4 or 5 days or 1 week prior to it. But there were an older schedule that was referring in the magazine and also on the DreamHack.se schedule site, which was incorrect.
I think
22,
that schedule said it was supposed to start at 11.
Yeah.
And we actually were meant to start at 10, but even then, I still believe the finals
started
actually
at
started at
9:30,
9:45 is when the games started, as I recall. So
Yeah, it was pushed up a little bit.
Okay, but that's the last one, StarCraft, for you guys this year.
10.
And were you happy with the whole tour? Anything you didn't like? What do you want to do next year?
Of course, this was the first time that we really did a whole season. And that was one of the main goals for Greycarn and the other guys at DreamHack, to have a really grand finals. And I think we achieved that really, really nice. It really felt like a grand final. I liked that we could give the release of the schedule some days prior, so you can see which matchups will be at what times. Also, I think that the 24 players coming into the main event were really strong lineup from the whole season. We had more or less all the best players. I think it was only Paul that was really missing because he chose to go to GSL. Yes.
I mean, it worked out really well. When we got to the round of 8, it was like 5 of these guys are previous DreamHack champions, and just that alone is like, okay, this is pretty cool.
So I think that the open format, especially when we saw Stockholm, Summer, Valencia, Bucharest, and even the BioC. I mean, the BioC was so stacked. We should have had a few streams for that actually during the first day. So I think the open format really was a success, and I liked how the ranking system turned out. So major part of it, we will most likely stick for it for the next year with the DreamHack Open.
What about the 6-man round robin groups? Is that
we've done it once before in DreamHack Summer 2011. I think it fell out kind of good at that point, but we only had top 2 advancing, I think, at that point. So this time I choose to have top 3 instead, which actually made the how the playoffs was generated was kind of advanced. So I actually had to take about 20 minutes extra before releasing it just to go through it once more. At least I haven't heard that I did it incorrectly, but you need to be extremely strong with the logic part and the format to understand how it should be generated. I like the group of 6. I think you have a smaller chance of having a 3-way tie. Although the bad part with this was that we had BioC the first day, so they had to play all the games on the second day, which made some of the games, I think, Sase, Ret, Hero, and Targa. I think those 4 were at least accused, or you could see through the VODs that they most likely threw their games. I know that today also Team Liquid
Mothership is viable, man. Mothership viable strategy.
Yeah, but Ret released, or Team Liquid released a statement that they will punish Ret for throwing his game.
Yeah.
I would just like to clarify one part, that's not only because I talked some to Ret and I follow his career kind of closely, but if you look at traditional sports, if you know that you are losing that goal that you needed to have to win, you will not perform as good for the upcoming or the last part of the game. So I don't think that it was like he threw the game in that regard that he tried to help someone or anything. He was just
didn't play.
He was so out of focus because he knew he was out.
Yeah, I mean,
and in that regard, I think it's really bad actually of Team Liquid to punish him, and also the community going so hard at him, because it's very human to do it. You're not a machine. Of course, you should play for the entertainment of the people and for your sponsors, but still, if you lose that game that was so important that you put your all into, and you are out. Is it so uncommon that you actually like throw it away? I mean, normally you talk about being tilt, especially in poker or whatever.
What do you think about admins telling the players what their standing is in the games?
On that part, I would say that was a huge error for the DreamHack StarCraft 2 admins.
Yeah.
I was actually not thrilled at all. I was kind of angry about that. That should never be done at any point.
Because that's especially what happened was that Ret stopped playing and was like, I need to know what the score is right now. Yeah, but also that Ret
paused the game, which he's not supposed or allowed to do. So he should have got a warning.
I feel like that's an ongoing issue in terms of pausing the games and like large tournaments. There's no standard about it. Players randomly pause, and then like there's no one like properly counting down. Because like I'm the observer, and like often I'll be like, okay, I guess I'll do a countdown. Like it's better I do a countdown than just one player says go. But getting back to the whole group stage thing, I think it's interesting that he ended up getting punished for the whole sportsmanship thing. When I look at the more controversial part was the Ret versus Hero series, where game 2 Hero just did a build like that didn't seem to make sense, and the conclusion a lot of people drew was that he's giving Ret a map so that Ret will have an easier chance to advance in the group, because that kind of bridges from just being defeated to giving someone an edge.
It's kind of weird how you can kind of look at it from a sportsman side of thing and a team side of thing, because many ways if you're in a F1 racing, they do let their teammates sometimes pass. or they let them win that series so they get points to move on in the series, etc. So it's a win for the team.
Yeah, but that has been in rule, like that they are not allowed to do it at certain
You've got that
seasons,
in a rule.
and then they've gone back and forth on it. I think.
You mean F1 have done that?
Yeah, F1, yeah.
F1. They've actually made it part of the rules now that you cannot flagrantly do it. Now the teams are finding all sorts of ways to do it, without making it blatantly obvious that it's like, oh, okay, I'll pull aside and let you through. But
I think that this is something that's happened a lot in the past. For example, ESL, when they draw the groups, always made sure they didn't have
teammates,
countermans or teammates or blah blah blah.
They say it's allowed now.
But still, it doesn't really matter because one European guy can be a friend with a Korean or an American. It doesn't really matter. But I think it's something that DreamHack and all the other leagues will have to look into even more. It has happened several times before that at least you have been suspicious of it, and it's always hard to enforce people to play their best if they're not up to playing their best. They will simply not perform as good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's really hard to accommodate because if you've got someone like Team Liquid or EG with so many players, it's like, we have to have them in all different groups, and then that can make the groups.
And then all of a sudden, when all those players are higher skilled, maybe, and then you separate them, whereas higher skilled independent players guaranteed to have to play one of them. So it's kind of an arbitrary line to define to separate groups.
Yeah, I guess you guys will look into that because it's happened this time. In my opinion, and it has happened before. I did it in Quake.
But I do like that the teams are punishing their players instead of the organizations in many regards.
Yeah. Okay. Any interesting, funny stories from StarCraft 2?
I was casting, man. I was casting. Day one. Yeah.
I heard you got a lot of praise for it. So.
Of course, I got universally positive feedback because I'm fucking good.
Yeah.
You love those infestors.
To me, it was fun to see both Forsaken and Nanema making it into the money, but I was really sad to see both of them going out 2-3 against Teja and Monchi. Also, I don't know. I think that was maybe the cool stories of the tournament.
Yeah, I think the round of 8 was really kind of where it was super interesting. That the Teja Thorzane series was like Thorzane was like an inch away from 3-0ing Teja, and it was like, wow, it just wasn't meant to be, I guess. But even the group stage, like TLO kind of showed how he's like actually a top tier foreign Zerg. His like kind of past few months isn't just like a fluke. Like he's kind of there. So I think that's really exciting for all his fans. And Snood I think is the big story because everyone going into the tournament was like, is someone actually going to come from the BOIOC and really make a big splash? And he did.
I think both Snoot and Feast came actually from BioC, going to the playoffs. But for me, Monchi was the big hitter of the tournament. Even though he's done really good the couple of last months, no one would see him going to the top 4. Yeah. And
let alone make it out of his group. A lot of people were just writing him off out of the group, like, oh, okay, well, he's the sole Protoss in an all-Zerg group. Good fucking luck. And he proved everybody wrong. Made it right on through, no problem at all. And TLO and Nurchio made it out of that group as well, right? Damaga and Targa got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, they all went 4-1 in the group.
Yeah. Well, it was really quite nice to see. It's just a shame to see that on the second map of the series, at least in the semis, where we talked afterwards and he was just like, yeah, man, my Colossus, I forgot to bound it. So he was just making like these mistakes, and he claimed it was like due to being on the main stage. So it's like, it's good for him to get this experience because now going forward, he has that under his belt and he's going to be able to use that. But when he did make it up to the semifinals, a lot of people were kind of like writing him off, saying, oh, he doesn't have the experience on the main stage. We can't really expect the best games from him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see more of him. He won ISF, which was like no one paid attention to that freaking tournament, so he didn't really get a lot of credit for it. But
he defeated
Squirtle, and there was another. I'm not sure if it was a Korean or just a big name he took out there, but he did a good run there.
Overall, good. I had hoped for more viewing numbers, but I can understand also why it was still good numbers.
Yeah, as far as I could tell. How was In Control casting?
Really good.
Yeah, so was there the whole event casting? What was the reception on him?
I think he had good reception. I think it was kind of mixed because the love affair he's had with Reddit is still kind of not there, so people are still really everyone will just jump on the hate train of In Control when they want. So, but I think overall, like, he did a good job, and the reception was overall good. It was funny. There was a big thing where, like, he made some, joke about my accent, because every time I say, like, about or something, the chat goes nuts.
I see how you just, like, really paid very careful attention to say it correctly.
But anyway, there's, like, a couple Canadians in the Team Liquid Live report there, like, you just don't make fun of people's accents. Like, don't do that. And so...
It's been a really polite Canadian way.
Yeah, so...
Okay.
That's a
Also,
shtick,
But
man.
is there no funny stories from the StarCraft 2? Nothing that really happened that just kind of made you go, lol?
I don't know.
I don't know, builds.
Your guest appearance. That was
Yeah,
just
okay,
so
is that what you're
gosh
fishing
darn
for?
funny.
No, that wasn't actually. I don't,
You did show
I'm
up as
sorry.
what did you use again? A network router, and brought their drinks to them on a tray?
Well, I don't know. I was just like, I came on and did it once, and then I was like, I'll do it again just to fuck with them because I'm bored. And I came on with a router with a couple of drinks, and I served it, and I didn't have any plan. And they started talking to me, and I just thought, I'll just say I don't speak English, like some sort of weird waiter. And then Apollo asked for a hot water, which I interpreted as a hot woman. But when I walked away, I thought of a really funny joke I could have done that would have really pissed off a lot of people, but I should have done it. Because I just go on because I'm literally just got nothing to do apart from meant to be at my stage. And so I was meant to say to Apollo, like, hot woman, like one hot woman he's ordered from me. And I was going to go to In Control, and I was like, and for you, sir, hot man? Which obviously he would say no to. And then I would suggest maybe something from the Stefano menu. And then I would have I looked in the camera and given a wink and walked off. And I thought, that joke came into my head the split second I walked away. And I thought to myself, it's kind of good I didn't do that. It's kind of good I'm a little bit slow today, because I would have done it. And it would have been, I would have got everyone in a lot of trouble.
You would have gotten an email.
I would have loved
pretty
it.
bad, yeah.
But overall, I didn't get to see much of StarCraft 2, as in any of it, but it sounded like it went average, in my opinion. Like, viewing numbers, average, production that DreamHack was do is always good, so in that way you kind of look at it as an average now. If you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah.
It was
it's like that is
par
what
for
you
the
expect
course,
from DreamHack. Did you do anything that people didn't expect with production, or was it like the standard that people were come to expect?
Overall, I think it was a standard. I think that what was the introduction movie to the Dream Arena Ultimate, which was really cool. I also think that the ending texts were something people liked. Also, just big shout out to Mr. Bitter and Rotterdam. Like, those guys, to work with those, they are thumbs up. Like, they are so great. They are so easy to work with. They always bring it. Like, just love those guys.
Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. Of course, there weren't only big winners in StarCraft 2. There were also big winners in other tournaments. And of course, we won a tournament as well over at the Good Studio. I'm going to need to have this cashed in today, Hellspawn. Of course, we are champ. It's us. We're trademark esports. And you owe us this money, Hellspawn.
Yeah.
I want it.
No, Robert does.
Robert?
Give us the money. Give us the money, bitch. I want my money. It's my check.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Hellspawn. I'd like to cash it in.
Ching ching!
Hellspawn, there you go. Camera change, please, Hellspawn. We'd like to give evidence. I'm checking this in now.
Ching ching!
Cash money right there.
Right.
All right. Now what?
Yeah. We'll leave it there for the rest of the show.
You have it?
Not really, but there we go.
I whack it up against the wall here.
Okay. So
It's
yeah,
massive.
that's Heroes of New Earth prize check.
I just wonder how many in this industry do believe that actually...
It's a normal size
check.
check. I
Who's
mean,
in charge of designing the size?
it's.
Who is the genius behind that?
I know.
S2 games, I would say.
I say the S2 games feel like they're compensating for something.
Yeah, no, it's like you see the guy driving the Hummer or the big 4x4 truck, and then it's like you got the check.
I took it to the bank, but it wouldn't go through. You know those little slips. and then wouldn't fit in the.
For sure, it's the world's largest MOBA price check.
Yes.
Yes, I think we.
So
can
we
confirm that.
we stole it. It's memorabilia now of the good studio. Congratulations, by the way. Heroes of New Earth trademark esports did win. We were actually going to graffiti it and actually write the good studio and try and get Robert to pay us. But yeah, there was a Heroes of New Earth tournament. Trademark Esports won. They had their own kind of setup. They were very. They didn't feel. I don't think they were. You could say like a DreamHack tournament in many ways. It's like they had their own booth. They had their seats. They had breaky and a suit. They had their own projector, and it was all kind of run by themselves. But they did get their finals in the Dream Arena Extreme. I don't know the viewing numbers. So if anyone out there can tell me what kind of concurrence these guys were hitting, how did Heroes of New Earth kind of fare?
I think they had about 10 to 15k, something like that. 10 I saw most of the time.
Okay, so 10 to 15k.
And I mean, for sure, it's the biggest
20p.
Heroes of New Earth tournament in the world. So it was really cool. Was it Complexity doing second place? I
don't know.
believe so.
They didn't have a check for me to steal, so I didn't actually.
Oh, right. No, but overall, it seems that the Han tournament was so much better than the last summer, even though I think that the level of the teams were better than last summer. Of course, not Fnatic playing Han anymore, so they couldn't bring it home, but they did good in the other two games. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think people quite liked it, the Heroes of New Earth. So
Yeah, I always saw a lot of people in the crowd there watching.
they
That booth was full.
Yeah, but Swedish people at DreamHack do love Heroes of New Earth.
The thing about Heroes,
no matter what you say,
yeah.
like
no, I think it's a
big
good
game in Sweden.
I think it's a good game as well, and but it's kind of weird because S2 have been to DreamHack a couple times and not done, in my opinion, a good job with their tournament. I think this is the first time that S2 have done a really. I think it was a really good job. It was a nice setup. It was in a good area. And they finished had their finals. It was at 4 p.m.
Really
I mean, it's easy to
really
schedule.
smoothly.
Yeah, admittedly, it's easy to schedule a tournament for a game that has basically no players.
Well, it's because they had 30 PCs, so they could
start
run games
with
consecutively.
start with the grand final. It's not true. So they did a good job. So well done with that, and great job on the checks. We're really going to enjoy this one round the house. And sorry, Trademark Esports, if you actually wanted this, but we found it in the hotel lobby, so I just hijacked it. So, oh well. So that was Heroes of New Earth. We could talk about the other game. We'll talk about it just generally, and that was Dota 2. We'll bring on a little bit later, like Draskyl and Sing Sing, who are here, but we can just talk about it as a tournament. The Good Studio did this kind of desk thing. Which was where me, Toby, Gods, and Draskyl sat. I think the viewing numbers were very close to StarCraft 2 overall, so I think that's a huge success for Dota 2, because if you consider the fact that there were so many tournaments on at the same time, like you've got people watching HON, League, Dota, StarCraft, because they're all continuously running, as well as Counter-Strike Go. Dota 2 definitely had a very good showing. I think even with the Chinese stream, which I think wasn't actually meant to be there was reports of 70k concurrence across all streams. But generally we were very happy. I think me and Trance doing that. We had some problems with some cables that DreamHack helped us fix, and I think we could have done more for it with the setup of the mics and headsets on the stage. But generally people thought it was okay.
Well,
So
it was a travel. That was the first time, of course. If there's
Yeah.
we'll be better.
but in terms of reception, what are your feedback on your Dota 2 tournament, Hellspawn?
Well, I'm really
Not
happy
our
with.
side, but just generally.
No, I'm
from
really happy
players.
with the numbers, of course. I was surprised by Navi getting knocked out by EG. It was also funny to me that the first final map in the grand final was played in the tournament area, and then you moved on. I heard also the Dota community didn't really like it.
Nobody.
Who
I
would like
think
that?
Wait,
I
say
think
that again? What happened?
playing the first map in the tournament area and then move on. Why we do it at DreamHack and Dream Arena is because we want to fit in so many games as possible, and we saw it at WCG. They had done it several times in the past and seemed to have worked out good. I think that the delay in the grand final for Dota was longer than expected, just because we also squeezed in the Street Fighter final. Anyway, in the green room in the lobby before going into the main stage, I sat down with EG for a couple of seconds. I told Malk, how's it going? Yeah, we're up 1-0, we're going to take them out 2-0. And I said, I don't think so. They have Loda. They're gonna take it 2-1, and then they got crushed. So that was kind of funny to me.
That's nice of you to piss off some.
Yeah, but I love Melk, like, and EG, like, those are so cool guys.
That
I
makes
think
it
the
better.
big thing for the tournament was Fnatic for me.
Yeah.
Reaching the semifinal.
They had a really good time. So yeah, that was overall Dota 2 ran pretty well, and I think it had a really good showing. It's one of the biggest showings for Dota 2 outside of the international, and it's just before the year's end. So we'll see what 2013 waits. But where does Dota 2 rank in kind of stream numbers and the whole thing? I guess League of Legends was top stream, StarCraft 2 was second, and then Dota 2 was third?
I haven't got the numbers, and also League of Legends was only ran...
Rexus has it.
But it's only English. Dota has Chinese.
Okay.
Russian.
Yeah,
right.
but continue.
League of Legends only ran throughout 2 days, Thursday and Friday, but it reached over 100k during the finals, so for sure that was the top dog, and Dreamer in Extreme was filled out. For me, Dota was really big, and still I would say maybe StarCraft 2 has a more cheerful crowd, but I would say Dota 2 fans are even more crazy actually than Han and League of Legends fans at DreamHack. Like, they're so into it, they're shouting so much. Yeah, of course, having Loda and Ake, and who else is...
Loda, Ake...
S4.
Some people are saying Dota 2 actually was probably second largest stream, but that might have been across all the channels.
I think if you include
Across all the
Chinese,
channels,
yeah.
Because
And
you guys
also
hit
with Dota
80k.
TV.
Yeah.
You guys did have 80k. So I
But
mean,
you would expect it to be generally bigger in the future,
Yeah.
just because of the amount of people that play Dota 2 compared to StarCraft 2, in my opinion. But StarCraft 2 has had this amazing storyline throughout the year, so it's kind of... Dota 2 is almost still in its infancy.
The only thing that I could expect more from Dota was I would love to have more teams in the BioC. I think maybe it's something that we are doing wrong at DreamHack, or just that it's too much going on. But we have to have more in the future for us to feeling really confident with Dota 2 at DreamHack.
Yeah. All right, but of course, no Tidehunter won. EG came second, so big congratulations to both those teams, even though I'm sure EG a little bit disappointed. Na'Vi were knocked out by EG, but then I spoke to Puppy. He's like, I don't want to make excuses, but we really haven't played since the international. And they said we weren't even meant to win Star Ladder, but somehow we did. So we'll see what happens to Na'Vi next year. But I think a lot of teams are looking at the start of 2013 because no Tidehunter said they're getting sponsorship. You've got people like Sing Sing that are probably looking for a team. You've got people, who are like off this tournament. Like, this tournament is a really big tournament because this tournament doesn't only tell people what they were capable of as when you come together and play at a LAN. It's also what do you need to necessarily change or work on going up towards the international. And I think we're still going to see some changes. Some people are going to be announcing sponsors, as I mentioned, no Tidehunter. And 2013 beginning off will be big for Dota 2. Regardless of how many tournaments are going to be, you should see everything kind of solidify more.
And I would just continue with it. I'm really happy that the Dota 2 community could stabilize around DreamHack, even though it's not the international. Like, we saw a lot of teams actually bring it together and practice for the tournament. I wouldn't say as much as the international,
of course.
But of course, compared to any other games, as much. So that's good to me to know, and also gives us more reasons to go even more into Dota for the future.
Yep, okay. So we'll talk a little bit more about Dota 2 and the players and etc. with Sing Sing and also Draskyl and their experiences from DreamHack. Moving on, we should talk about Counter-Strike Go. CSGO.
CSGO, yeah.
Like, stop that. Like, what the fuck, guys? I haven't said that.
You don't? No, you don't. Household.
you don't.
Everyone's just bullying you. So CS:GO seemed kind of disappointing to me. I don't know if it was necessarily it DreamHack couldn't give it enough attention or hype just because pre-hyped this on because he's so busy with a lot of tournaments. Stream numbers didn't seem that great despite having people like Red Eye and Corey Dunn casting. NIP of course won the tournament. So overall, as a first big start to Counter-Strike Go, maybe in Europe or at least with DreamHack, how was your response and what can you tell us about the CSGO tournament, Hellspawn?
I really like the CSGO tournament, to be honest. I like the production we did with the studio. I love that so many teams, I think even more than League of Legends, so many teams actually want to get an invite, attend, play the BioC, practicing into this. It felt like, I wouldn't say it felt like a world championship, but in many regards it did feel like the biggest CSGO tournament to this date, and it feels like it would take not a long time, but nothing in what we can see at this point will over top it, so to speak. So on that part, I was really happy. I would have loved to have more numbers, of course, on the stream. I think on location, a lot of people were standing around and sitting in the at the stream. So that
Not
was
so much
all
on the
good.
first day, but the second and third days definitely.
I think out of all those three, I think actually it felt like Dota 2 had the most people sat down, then StarCraft, then CSGO. But a lot of people actually, you're getting praise for this because a lot of people are already saying that it was one of the best kind of Counter-Strike productions
Yes.
that there has been.
The
But
production
that's-
seemed really
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
Thanks
also,
to Chaos TV.
yeah, and that's something that has really kind of stepped up since CS 1.6 hasn't been able to return since. Because CS 1.6 only really had like Intel Extreme Masters, and Intel Extreme Masters haven't really, in my opinion, evolved as a production company to really bring things further in big ways. They have obviously made some steps, but it doesn't seem like, So I think when, Chaos TV with DreamHack's stuff there, they did a really good job, and I think people really enjoyed that at least. But what were the streaming figures averagely?
Was there HLTV as well? Question.
I think it was, but I'm not sure, to be honest, if it was HLTV or what it's called, CSGO TV. I think the numbers were about 10K or something like that. It was lower at some points, of course. But if you look at it into the perspective of, you have about 20,000 daily players in CSGO, and we had actually 10,000 concurrent viewers. So a lot of people did watch CSGO that don't even own the game or play the game. If you compare that to League of Legends,
Yeah.
had 100,000 concurrent, but 75 million players at 1 month. So
Exactly.
still, I think that the viewing numbers compared to the CSGO scene was really big. I just think the main problem is too few play CSGO. We need more players for it to be viable and to compare it with 1.6 or any StarCraft 2, League of Legends.
We'll diverge a little bit. I just want to ask a quick question, Hellspawn, just for your opinion. But do you think that Valve are spending too much time trying to cater to the 1.6 scene rather than going after the newer generation of FPS gamer? Do you think they should be putting more of their time into trying to get new players for the game rather than actually taking into account so much what the 1.6 crowd have to say?
Are they not? Maybe.
Should we not get into that?
No, but
I don't know,
I agree with you, Semmler, but one thing is for sure that at 1.6 or Source and for CSGO, we need new blood. We cannot have the old players playing the game only, and we need attract new players into the game. And I think one way of doing it is not to actually maybe please the 1.6ers, more please the overall FPS gamers. Although it's a problem for Valve that is 60,000 concurrent players at 1.6 and only 20,000 for CSGO. So, but I mean, they're working a lot with it. I think the game is patched once every week. They got in the CSGO TV, which has a lot of features that all
That aren't
1.6
present in
stars
any
would
other.
love. So I mean, a lot of things can happen in the game. I think the hardest part was the release was kind of unknown to a lot of people, and they didn't have a good start. But for the future, it can be good.
So you were really hyped going into having CSGO there.
Yeah, DreamHack for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a lot of
How do you
effort
feel
into it.
afterwards? How do you feel about CSGO afterwards? Are you hyped? You're like, yeah, man, we're doing a really good CSGO tournament. Hopefully it's going to be big with C. And then afterwards, you're feeling.
I'm actually really pleased. Like, I love the competition. A lot of the teams that I was cheering for that I thought would do good. For example, Team Dynamic, they reached the playoffs. Not a lot of people thought that, even though they got knocked out by very games. Also Mouse Sports, which I thought would do better than some said. And they got knocked out by NIP, but still defeated, for example, Copenhagen Games Wolves, that a lot of expecting like top 4. So the competition I loved how it was on location. You could really see in the players that they like really cared about this and put a lot of effort into the tournament. The Brazilians pro gaming TD with Kogo, I think they were 1 month actually in Sweden for an online bootcamping. Went to ESWC, were really disappointed with the result, and then came back here. Went to the playoffs, maybe didn't come as long as they wanted to, but overall, Cisco was a good tournament for us, and I hadn't talked to our sponsors of the tournament, but I think they were happy.
Okay. And of course, NIP won that. And was it a stomp? Were they challenged?
There was a stomp. I think the second map was,
It was
16-1.
Yeah, 16-1 on the grand.
And I mean,
finals.
you can't stomp anyone any more than that.
That's
So.
that's pretty one-sided.
Okay. Well, okay, we'll leave it there for CSGO. But personally, I'm not sure how many people are going to want to get behind it on a much more regular basis. You got to understand, this is my opinion, when you go to DreamHack and there's tournaments with prize money, there's always going to be tournaments with prize money at DreamHack because people want to be involved with what DreamHack Winter or Summer is. But necessarily getting CSGO on a regular basis to support and build the tournament scene throughout the year, can't see DreamHack doing that with any of their projects. Can't see many other people being able to do that. Maybe we'll see it at Copenhagen Games and other places. But it doesn't feel like it has a great future, man. It just doesn't feel that way for me. I mean, if the numbers were like over 50,000 concurrent.
Yeah, but 1.6 never had that, though, I think.
But it's still early.
I think 1.6 probably had, I don't know.
35, yes.
Yeah.
Really hard to say throughout HLTV, though. They had more, most likely. But
Yeah, okay. But it's just like if it hit anywhere around then 30 plus, kind of 35, 40, I think that would turn a lot of sponsors' head to actually be like, oh, this is comparable to like StarCraft 2, potentially. And this is so comparable that we don't need to maybe compete to sponsor within StarCraft 2. We could do something with
What you
CSGO.
need to take into account is that also some of the ex-big names from 1.6 just transitioned. So it's still a transitioning process.
Yeah.
We shouldn't diss it just yet.
Yeah, I'm not dissing it. I'm not saying it's like, I'm just saying.
Just that Navi,
I'm just saying
that Navi has swapped into it would make a lot of people in Ukraine and the Russian-speaking world.
6 months, then we need to have
Okay.
an outlook.
I agree with
But if I
Franz.
was a
6
sponsor
months.
and I came off this event,
I know,
I would be
it's-
like, I'm gonna put my money
It's the same
elsewhere
with
for the
Dota.
time being.
You know, the
Yeah.
other days, Dota 2, I mean, it was the same. So
Sponsors still aren't doing, they're still not looking at
I
Dota
can't
2.
find my microphone. Somebody stole it.
Yeah, you can't find his mic. So, sorry about that. So yeah, Trans thinks it will develop a lot over 6 months. So we'll see. But I'll be curious. I think it needs like a big organization to pick it up and kind of flagship the game name. Like Intel Extreme Masters would actually be a good option for them. Just because everyone seems to be busy elsewhere. And IEM were very famous for their 1.6. Okay, so Quake Live was also at DreamHack. Evil won. He beat out Rafa in the finals, and he also took out Cypher in the semis. First real LAN tournament, apparently, for Evil is one of the notes, but he was very happy. And we had him on the pre-DreamHack show here, where he actually looked like he could be a champion.
How old is he?
I don't know, but he doesn't drink or smoke, so it's weird.
Can't trust him, man.
And he's
to it.
Russian?
Yeah.
You
exactly.
sure?
Yeah. All I know is like I had to pay him cash for the winnings that he. It's really funny because Nicer Dicer, and a big shout out to him, was kind of translating. And all I heard all weekend, right? Because I owed him $600 cash, $500 for a tournament he just won with us, and $100 from previous. All I heard from people was like, "Evil's looking for you. He wants his money." And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of busy. I'm like, yeah, I'll sort it out with him later. Let me just do my job. And then it turned and eventually he comes to me with just a check that he won with Nicer Dicer. And Nicer Dicer is like, yeah, how are we going to sort out the money? I was like, well, I'll just go get out cash. And then I'll just take it to him at the after party, right? And he's like, he's not going to be at the after party. I was like, what hotel is he staying at? So I arranged to go get cash and drop it off at his hotel. And then, he even asked me about how he's going to get this money. He's like, it's got the check, and Nicer Dice is like, how does he get this money? And I'm like, I'm not fucking paying him that money. You got to talk to DreamHack. And then, so we ended up going to a hotel, ringing a Russian, and as soon as I put that $600 in his hand, well, his face lit up like a little boy.
Awesome.
It was brilliant.
No, but the Quake Live tournament,
But he did great.
It was the last tournament I think that we decided to run, and of course thanks to Kingston, Plantronics, Gamecom, and Twitch TV, they all made it possible, and I'm really happy. We had I would say good numbers for Quake Live. I think it was around 3,000 throughout all the time, and maybe reached 4,000, 5,000 at some points. Also, the games were really good from what I've heard. I have seen Evil versus Sparty and Avic versus Rafa, and I'm looking forward to see Cypher versus Evil, because that's supposed to be the best game of the tournament. But also the final, I was really surprised to see Rafa going down, because if it's someone in the world within esports that can really make it in that big final, it's Rafa. And he's done it so many times. Even though he doesn't look so great, he still achieved to be at his best when it counts. And for Evil to take it home against Rafa is just such a big win to me. And looking at the top 8 of the tournament, I think it was really a good list of players. It was also sad to hear that Avic was retiring actually during stream. He announced it. I haven't seen myself, but I'm very flattered that Avic does one of those things at DreamHack, because I think he is the 3rd-time champion of DreamHack or something like that.
You're talking about him retiring?
Yes.
Yeah, that was. I didn't see this, but apparently Avic came on, had a little kind of monologue or something. I don't know how long it lasted. Trans told me.
3-4 minutes.
Okay.
By the end, you could tell it was really sentimental for him.
Yeah, he was. It was quite emotional, sentimental, almost teary-eyed, and he was basically stepping away. What was his reasons?
He's like playing bad and all that, and basically saying, I've learned to finally appreciate the community that you guys have been supporting me throughout the years. You know, he used to not like the guys on Yes Reality and stuff, and just not pay attention.
Okay.
He's like, I realized how much you were supporting me, even when I was playing bad, all that. But it's time to quit. I don't feel good. I'm playing, I'm
Sujoy said he mentioned the ESR trolls a lot, but yeah.
Sergio, the founder of ESR.
I don't know, because when we had Avic on our show, he ended up just kind of quitting out, and then we had to get him back in. He probably wasn't enjoying it as much. So,
but just to me, it's very sad to see both Colver and Avic quitting. We still have Cypher within the industry, but I mean, I always call them the Easters, the gangster from East, or the Eastern gangster. So for me, those 3 has always been my favorites. Cool. So just sad to see Avic and Cooler leaving the scene.
yeah. All right. So Quake Live, good job by the way, MVC for holding that.
Yeah,
stream
MVC,
down.
such a big shout out. His stream looked awesome, and he did so much great.
Great job, the Good Studio lending him our equipment. Because Trant said he was going to lend him his PC, that he was like, no, I'm taking the studio PC, and I'm like, fuck you, Trant.
Dude, that thing saved our life. Because we ended up using the studio PC for the Dota stream, because none of their PCs worked with the capture cards. So luckily I had our PC to actually make it happen.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We used our own PC later.
Yeah, from the beginning, from day one.
Because fucking DreamHack's equipment didn't work. Wankers. And Fish Sticks also made an appearance on the Quake live stream. Do apologize about that, everybody. We cannot be held responsible for his level of commentary, and but he does represent Twitch TV, so we let him off because he just
He's in chat now.
That was one part of the deal with having Twitch as a sponsor, to make sure Fish Sticks
has to. Yeah, Twitch sponsored the Quake live stream, and it was Fish Sticks that did it all, and he even wrote the contract. I must cast the finals. No, too good. And
you were banned actually from the stream, right? Just so Fish Sticks could have some airtime.
Yeah, he banned me.
Just so you know, Quake lovers, it was Fish Sticks' fault.
Yeah. But Fish Sticks actually was one of the guys that really wanted to support the Quake live stream. Quake live in DreamHack as well, so Twitch were involved there. So. Also, in Street Fighter 4, Infiltration won from Western Wolves.
Man.
And he beat out Ryan Hart in the finals. I heard I didn't actually get to see it, but I heard Ryan Hart took a set.
Yeah, 3-2 in the first set. It was, of course, a big one. And then Infiltration seems to be unstoppable. Yeah. And then it was 3-0, 3-1 in the second set. But still really cool to see all these, especially Western Wolves and Lowland Alliance players going along, keeping on showing up at DreamHack events. And Infiltration, I don't know, can anyone ever stop him? Has he lost anything this year?
I mean, the best thing about having him there, in my opinion, was Street Fighter has always been quite a passionate side of what DreamHack does. And you did have the best Street Fighter player in the world at DreamHack. And I think Ryan Hart put up a good performance to take a set. But in the last series, I think he got beat out pretty quickly. But overall, yeah, when I watched him play in tournaments over in the US, he was amazing.
Sorry, K-Brad. Yeah, I saw actually that game when he defeated him in Canada Cup. That was a big one.
Oh, okay, K-Brad. Yeah, apparently.
But anyway, I mean, Infiltration, the way that he won EFO this summer, most likely the biggest achievement anyone done in esports this year. Like, he is... The way that he was playing against Daigo, I'm just still stoked about it.
Yeah, and of course, that was Western Wolves that represent both those players, so you can always check them out and follow those dudes. And then the last tournament we have to talk about is League of Legends, I guess.
What?
I don't know. I mean, I think we covered everything important.
Yeah, I think so.
What's left?
I don't know. Let's do the StarCraft news.
No, but League of Legends, for me, the event was extremely smooth. It was run at Grim Arena Extreme throughout the 2 first days.
Oh, shit. We're out of time, guys.
Oh, no.
So we're going to go to a commercial break right now. And when we come back, we're going to be moving back into StarCraft 2. But great wrap up there, Hellspawn. Good job.